Welcome to Rainbow Rundown.
We meet you where you at, and we take you where you want to be.
The Rainbow Clubhouse is a rehabilitation program which provides a safe and supportive environment, forging new relationships and uplifting members.
All right. Hello and welcome to the Rainbow Rundown. My name is Melissa and I'm here with our guest today,
Kendy.
Kendy, and
Diana.
would you mind saying it again? I'm sorry, I cut you off.
Diana.
Thank you so much, Diana and Kendy, for being here today on the Rainbow Rundown. I appreciate your time and your space and your energy today. How are you guys feeling?
I feel great today. I had a nice day. Today is a good day.
That's great.
I'm feeling the same.
That's
And
awesome.
hopefully I want to have a beautiful afternoon.
That's beautiful. I'm so happy to hear that. So I'm just going to dive right into our topic. So today we're going to be discussing mental health stigma and Black history because we're coming upon Black History Month and we are a mental health clubhouse. So we like to focus on these important topics. And without further ado, I'm going to get started by asking a general question. Whoever would like to go first, would you feel comfortable sharing how mental health has influenced your life or the lives of people close to you?
Like always, lady first.
Okay, mental health has impacted my life because not only do I know a lot of people that have it, but with the stigma that's going around with mental health these days, it's very hard to get by walking the street just everyday life. We have problems that we already have our personal issues that we're going through with the mental health problems, and then we have added on from others, which give us a worse time than ever because we don't understand. We don't know to say good morning, good afternoon. We don't know to be courteous in the street. We don't know to be fearful. We go through so much in this Black History Month, which is a short month, and we have to deal with so much that we are going through, and then we have to be mindful of others too.
Absolutely.
She said it right there. We gotta be mindful, aware. Sometimes we gotta be more aware. Sometimes for others, that and us we gotta be on point. Sometimes when like we talking to somebody when we just walking by, and we touch someone by mistake, that person reacts some kind of way. So, we have to be the ones to say, excuse me, and help them, come to the sense that it's not a fault.
Absolutely.
By mistake.
Absolutely. Mistakes happen.
Yes.
And you both touched on an important point, which is that everyone experiences these things, not just one person with a mental health condition. Everyone can experience issues with awareness or even issues with perception, things like that. Important topics. Okay. In your experience, what are some common attitudes towards mental health, especially in your community?
They think that everybody walking the street hollering is crazy. Some people just holler because they don't got nothing better to do.
Exactly. No, that's true.
They do. Some people, you just walk the street and holler, yo, and you be hollering, what's wrong with them?
And some people just happy, singing.
Yeah, singing, dancing.
Just happy.
Dancing.
And, I guess nowadays when you see somebody happy, that's weird.
Yeah.
They're calling, crazy because somebody's singing, happy. So it's just because the world is full of a lot of, sad things, misery. So, now when we see somebody happy, it's not right.
Yeah, something.
Happiness becomes weird.
It becomes odd to some people, especially when they're opposed to it or they're not with that, they're not with the happy vibes, the good vibes, or anything like that.
And sometimes it's got to do with the environment and the people that you're around to, the people who smile,
Yeah, and then you have to realize people that don't know nothing say anything. You have to realize that too about people. When they have a negative perspective on life, they just say anything.
Yes, and that's where, like we tried to say before, that's where we got to be aware, that sometimes it's not their fault.
Absolutely.
That's when we got to come to the sense, be the one to just bring the peace and come down.
Yes, absolutely. So what do you think are some cultural factors that shape the way that mental health is viewed in the Black community, especially when it comes to celebrities or popular figures?
Popular figures was shown from knowing that they had mental illness or they had any kind of diagnosis whether it be depression, it be anxiety, or whatever it is that was shunned from it. It couldn't be that they had anything that was considered normal that was going on with them or their family. So you would just find out now that, oh, this person has a mental illness, they suffer with depression, and this celebrity suffer with this. Before, there was no doubt in your mind there was nothing wrong with anybody but the people that always had a diagnosis.
Wow.
The ones that already had a diagnosis, we knew something was wrong with them. But those that was just acting out in the public eye, they just act like this because of that reason. They never said that they had these mental illnesses until recently. You found out all these stars have all these different types of elements that's going on with them, that they have been diagnosed with a number of things.
Yes, she's right. And I think that's a beautiful thing. And now recently everybody come out and talking about it, because that's basically, that show us that we're not alone.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's breaking a cycle of suffering for other people, and also is breaking the silence free somewhere else. From they might be going through the same thing, painful, and for that they have a lot of free service. They show us, they tell us that we got free service, that it's good to look for help.
Absolutely.
That we got free help.
And that's what we're here for.
Yes.
It's helping each other.
And we're not alone.
And we're not alone, absolutely. So do you feel like there are certain barriers, like you said, having no access to resources? Do you think that gets in the way of receiving adequate mental health care or anything like that?
I think it's basically come from your background. That's what I believe. Mm-hmm. It's your background that leads you into these services. If you don't know anything, you just stay out there sometime. You see the person walking the line when I was young, howling, screaming, and walking the line. And we just said, oh, he's crazy. Well, we didn't know if he knew that he just had to walk across the street in his building, he wouldn't have to walk that yellow line and interrupt traffic and run the street. He didn't have to do all this, but probably his background, his family never let him know that it's okay to get service. It's not okay to walk the yellow line.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And when you're walking that line, do you feel like it's easy to fall either way? Like that's an important time to find support? Would you say that support is important in those moments?
Support is very important, not just from your family, but from anybody, because some of them are just reaching for straws. You want to grasp on anything that you possibly could. And if you don't have no help from nowhere, where do you go?
Mm-hmm.
Basically, if you don't know, you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know what to do.
Exactly.
So that's good. Seeking for therapy, looking for help,
looking for assistance, seeking out who's there for you.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And it's never late, to do that.
And are there any specific challenges from your perspectives when it comes to an individual seeking mental health care?
At first, I think you need to get over your own stigma. Because we all have our own perception of how our life's supposed to become and what we're leading into. So therefore, we need to be aware of what we need to do for us first. We need to get out of our heads. We need to find out that there are other things that we could be doing to help ourselves. Maybe we need to find a treatment, because sometimes we don't find a treatment, we end up in jail and in the hospital a lot.
Mm-hmm. Or out on the street.
Or
just
in the
never
street,
know.
Yep, you never know. But it's too many other places to go mentally if you're not seeking any kind of help.
So how important exactly is that having that representation reflected back to you? So, for example, I'm a young Latina woman. If I wanted to see a Latina therapist and a woman, how important is having that represented to you?
To me personally, it's not important, because I want somebody that will listen and not judge, understand without telling me what to do.
Mm-hmm.
I want somebody that's there for me in this situation. I wouldn't want nobody there because you happen to be an African-American, black, older woman that makes you think you understand me. If you haven't been there, basically you don't understand me. You may empathize with me, but if you sympathize with me, I don't want you to be there nowhere.
And can you tell me a little bit more about that difference between sympathy and empathy? That's very important.
Empathy is you can understand what I'm going through.
Mm-hmm.
you can understand, well, I can understand that you're going through something and we're trying to find out how to help you. Don't feel sorry for what I'm going through, because that's part of my life.
Okay. Don't feel sorry.
That's my life. Don't feel sorry for my life, because I might not feel sorry for my life. I'm trying to go through something. I need somebody to understand that I need help going through what I'm going through.
I like that. Empathy over sympathy. I appreciate that.
And I guess, yes, they can probably, that's the way you can find the right tools. They can give you the right tools to work the problem you have, we have.
Yes.
You know?
Absolutely. And what do you think about, in Kendy specifically, how important is it for you to have someone helping you be from the same background or from the same place that you come from? Is that important or not really? You could be from anywhere.
Yeah, like she said, it's not that important. To me, it's more the knowledge, you know, and what you have to offer. What you have to, you know, what I can use, what your knowledge, what you can give me. You know, if I can use that, I don't mind where you're from. You know, it's from there. So you give me the advice that I need at the moment, or anything any tools that I can work with, and it's fit with my problem, with my situation, I'm good to go.
Excellent.
I don't mind where you're from.
That's good to hear. And when it comes to changing the narratives around stigma and mental health, what role do education and open conversations play in reducing stigma around mental health?
The roles that I play in it is basically to let you know I understand what you're saying, and I'm going to try to hear out what you have to say. Between all sometimes your chaos and your mishap and your misunderstanding, I'm going to try to brace myself, and I'm going to try to hear you without adding everything that you're going through with it. And sometimes people go through a lot, and they just can't sit still. They can't talk still. They can't stop the blurrings and the slurs and the slurs because they're going through a lot. Their body, mentally and physically, they may be going through a lot. But me personally, I'm going to make it so that not only do I hear what you're saying, but I can give you the feedback that you can hear me the same way I heard you.
That's an excellent response. Thank you. Thank you. And how do you feel about that, Kendy? How do you feel about the role of education and having open conversations when it comes to mental health?
Well, I feel like that will be a good release. I can relieve myself, feel free talking to you, you know? That's better than that. If you let everything go, I feel a lot of a weight already shoulders.
Yes, we touched on this a little bit earlier about this feeling of release, relief and letting go. When it comes to letting go and finding trusted spaces, how can we help normalize this mental health discussion in a way that is inclusive and freeing for everybody? How do you think we could start with those steps?
First and foremost, we can have an open door policy where we can have a safe haven room. Everybody needs a safe haven room. And I say that is because it's not that the whole space can be safe, but sometimes you just need to go someplace where it's just a one-on-one conversation that you can say what you're actually going through without letting everybody know what you're going through, but you need somebody to know. And because you can do that, maybe you feel better about taking your medication because you found out that medication worked for me, and I released myself. I took the medication, I came out and I talked about the situation to somebody, not everybody, because everybody is not good for a conversation, to somebody. And not only did I get released from talking to this person and have them listen to me, but it was a one-on-one. I didn't feel them shunned up or tightened up, or I didn't feel uncomfortable around them. You just have to find your balance within somebody. Not everybody, but somebody.
Yes, that's a good point. And privacy, and maybe you can feel more like free, not to be judged, you know, and something that is between two people, you know, and you can't always express yourself better.
Absolutely.
And we also don't need it to be between a therapist all the time. or psychiatrists.
That is a big topic. It's been a big topic here in the
Not
Rainbow
always
Clubhouse.
about
Yeah.
a therapist and a psychiatrist.
Mm-hmm.
Because everything a therapist and psychiatrist write down, you don't want to be wrote down. You don't want nobody to know. You want to say it. You want to be relieved from it. You want the weight off your shoulder, but you don't want to be written.
Exactly. And sometimes that lack of comfort is present in a more clinical setting. Absolutely. That's why you need a more friendly setting, more peer support setting.
When
Yes.
we do groups, perfect.
Oh, that's
In
great.
groups, and then pros.
In
You're
our
gonna have
workshops.
different advice. Everybody, say something different. You can use one of those, message that probably someone can give you right in the moment.
Absolutely. Our workshops are always a safe space where
Yes.
you could talk about things and we can have open discussions. And as long as we remain on topic and we're talking about what we need to talk about, there's never an issue about who needs to speak up and when. And when it comes to your personal lives, how can you make this support a better place, a more positive place for yourself in your own mental health journey?
Basically, my mental health journey is on track, and I don't feel no way of. I can speak to basically anybody about what's going on in my head because I have no holdups about it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I have no shame about it. There's no, one way or the other. I don't care if you use it or you don't use it against me. It doesn't bother me. I'm not ashamed of what's going on in my head. Before it was like, don't let the person know your anxiety, don't let them know you have this, don't let them know you have that. Now I got to a point in my life is, if you know you don't, Lord, it won't make me no different. Because I have to heal me. I have to become healed. By you figuring out what's going on, it doesn't do me any good. As long as I'm good with me and I can get me better, that's all I basically need.
Yes, healing, and that's the whole point. That's why you sometimes you do these things is to heal yourself.
Absolutely.
And then you can walk with more positive, life.
More positive experiences, absolutely.
Yes. And that's also for healing. That's why they have a different things to do.
Absolutely.
Therapy, like yoga. It's perfect.
Yoga,
Dancing,
exactly.
Yeah,
Musical
that's
expression,
all
artwork.
Yes.
Even here in the clubhouse where we do our work order day, even some days when I just want to stop and sweep and do the dishes, or I love cooking.
That's
I love
it.
being in there and just letting my mind go. That's something that you need to do.
Keeping yourself busy, basically.
Absolutely.
You keep yourself busy and you learn something along the way.
On the way also.
You learn something, and that's a positive experience, if not anything else you can take back with you. You can take back that you had a positive experience and you learned something.
Yeah, and that's keep you away from anxiety, sometimes from anger and depression.
Exactly.
Keep yourself busy doing something productive.
So, based on the things that we were just speaking about, how can you create a more positive experience for yourself when it comes to mental health advocacy, having friends and family, and basically even a stranger? What kind of advice would you give to someone that's needing to approach this mental health topic?
Know your barriers. That's what I feel you're supposed to know. Know your barriers. You have to know this. That's the only way you can get along with everybody at any point in time, if you know where you're at. If you're all over the place and you're sloppy, it doesn't help you. Because the way that you present yourself all over the place, that's the way your mind is scattered.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have barriers and you know how far to go and how far you can't go, you will stick in that perimeter. So you would always be in a safe place no matter where you at or what position you're in.
Okay, I like that. A barrier keeps you grounded.
Express gratitude.
Okay, barriers. Express
Gratitude.
gratitude. Excellent.
That every day you got a new choice to make. And then the choice we make, we can, that's how maybe tomorrow will be.
And when it comes to expressing gratitude for you, Kendy, how do you honor yourself while honoring others? Your gratitude, and you're grateful for yourself, but you're grateful for others. How do you express that properly? when you're going through your mental health journey? How do you share that with others?
With kindness and humility.
Okay.
You know, be kind to others, be humble. You know, and
That's
always
right.
be there. Let them know that I'm there.
That's awesome.
And also look for if I need something. You know, if I need to say something, I will approach anybody who consider it in my cycle, or my friend, for help.
That's excellent. And Diana, how would you approach this positive topic and give advice to others?
I treat others the way I want to be treated. I speak to you the way I want to be spoken to. I respect you the way I want you to respect me back. And I only put out there what I want back. And I demand it. I don't just ask for it, I demand it, because some people don't understand. You have to demand what you want in life sometimes. Because some people don't understand when you just ask them.
Mm-hmm.
So I may be a little strange from others because of that. Because I give it and I demand it back.
It's that reciprocity. You're always getting something in return.
Yes.
Excuse me, when you're giving something, you're always getting something in return.
Right.
With that bar, when it comes to giving, I try to give, and if I don't get it back, like from somebody else or something, you know, because I learned by the time that I become disappointed. You know, expectation.
Mm-hmm.
And expectation is not good. Disappointing to me. Whatever. I try to do my best. If you don't give it back to me or whatever you act, that's on you.
Mm-hmm.
I just know that I gotta keep it moving. Go my own way.
Absolutely.
If I have to do it, just to life continue. Can't stop there.
And on this positive note, actually, what are some positive changes that you both have realized in your life, especially once you started addressing mental health in your own communities?
I realize sometimes I have to take the long way home.
Mm.
I live right around the corner, like half a block away from where I work at. But sometimes I have to go down the block, around the corner, and up the block, which is like 2 extra blocks instead of walking a half a block I actually live. Because it's best that I don't want to go through what I see. The day is not a good day for me. So I'm going to take the long way home. And when I take the long way home, I don't pass all the people that's out there doing what they do best or what they want to do. I get to see some new sight. I get to take the long way home, go down the block, past the supermarket, past the post office, back up the block. And it takes me an extra 10 minutes to get home, but I feel better that I didn't have to go through that to get where I need to be.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. I guess that's the way you find something different. You know, sometimes we gotta change people, places, and things. We gotta go the long way if we have to, just to do something different. And by doing something different, we find something new. You know, so I guess something that probably a new habit, something to do.
Yes.
Maybe something that can change our life.
Yes, that's amazing. And changing your own life is just as important. So, with that, I must ask, what gives you hope about the future of mental health awareness, especially with Black History Month coming up? We have a bright future ahead of us. What do you expect?
Excuse me. What I'm wishing for is that they get some of the people that really need this help. You know, that we all need the help, but there are some of us in dire need of mental health help. And I wish for them that they can find it within their self, just accept a little bit of help. That's all you need is a leeway. You need a little opening. I just want them to get a little opening, because if they get a little opening, maybe they'll be more ready to accept what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Because I seen them on the news. You know, they tape them every morning in the subway station. They do this every morning on News 1 and the 4 o'clock news. I think they just go to the subway station to see the homeless people, to see who's laying around or sleeping around. And it's like, you think these people actually really want to be out there? There's something going on with them. But they need a glimmer of hope. And I just want them, the people that's suffering so much, to find a glimmer of hope, to get them some type of help or some type of clarity in their life where they can not be so suffering as we see they are.
Mm-hmm.
Not they don't have to be because we see it, but that's just what society sees.
Exactly. Okay. And do you have any wishes for hope when it comes to mental health awareness, Kendy, for the future?
Yes, to not be scared and have faith that everything will be better. You know, believe in yourself.
Excellent. Okay. With that, I would like to conclude with the last question. What steps would you recommend for listeners who want to support mental health advocacy, especially in our communities, Black and Brown communities? What next steps would you recommend?
I would recommend them to first be aware of your surroundings. Everybody that's hollering and screaming is not crazy.
Yeah. You've said that a couple times, and I think that's very important.
It's very important because when I was growing up, that's all I used to think everybody that's hollering and screaming was crazy.
The stigma.
Yeah, the stigma. That's what I think, and that's what a lot of people still are stuck on, these stigmas.
Mm-hmm.
Don't believe the stigma. Maybe this person is going through something. Maybe if you just say good morning, you may get a good morning.
Mm-hmm.
It may make their day go a little better. So try to play down the stigmas of everyday life and in the mental health.
I like that.
Acceptance.
And that goes big into acceptance, absolutely.
Yes, acceptance.
I personally believe that, especially when we have our own battles and our own mental health journeys to go through, that it's important to always put yourself out there first. I would say that's the biggest thing I've learned when it comes to mental health, is that when you put yourself out there first, that usually means that it lets someone else see you for who you really are, and that way they can respond exactly how they need to respond. So that way you can behave accordingly, they can behave accordingly. And even when they don't behave accordingly, I would say it's mainly about doing what you can do best, especially in that moment of vulnerability. That's what's important, especially when someone's going through something.
Yeah, work together.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it makes it more easy when you work together.
Exactly.
To survive and go through anything.
Exactly. Well, that's excellent. Well, thank you so much for both being guests today on our podcast. My name is Melissa. I've been our host today at the Rainbow Rundown. We've had our guest Kendy, our member, and Diana, our peer support specialist. Yes. Would you guys like to say anything else?
Thank you.
Thank you. I
Thank
appreciate it.
you very much for having me, and anytime.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us on the Rainbow Rundown. Have a good one.
See ya.
See you.